널 기다렸어.
Okay, so
yeah, I got all my stats here correct.
How many? He still has only the one away win, Gumiho, and that last win was not an away win for Trust, and that he is 1-0. Okay,
You got it all down, Wolf.
got it all down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at your sheet after, a little bit later, just to confirm one more time. Okay, that was our fifth game. We're gonna go into set 6, which would be Hurricane versus Curious.
This happens. I mean, we got 30 games, right? So it's hard to keep track of every single game that happens in a row while we're casting. But we're trying to get all the stats down here so we have the clear picture of everything that's going on at all points in the broadcast.
All right, here we go. Now we get that bell ringing again. And we know that's time for the next game.
Could have sworn they stole that from a song, very popular one in the past.
I wouldn't know. Curious versus Hurricane here.
I'm like, okay, well.
And Hurricane did take the upset win over SOS. Curious, on the other hand, lost to Gumiho. Is 0-1. And now he's going into the matchup that he's going to be playing all day, all night. Okay, look, he's got, let me count them, 4, 8 ZVPs to play for the rest of the day. And this is just the first one. So this is the matchup he's obviously focused on for this group. And Curious, in the past, especially in Wings of Liberty, when he was one of the top players in StarCraft 2. I mean, he still is, but like he was top 8, some would argue top 4 for a while. This was his best matchup, especially late game ZVP.
So we are going to be jumping into game number 6 now. It's going to be on Dust Towers, the home map of Hurricane, up against Gumia, or rather Curious. Here we are on Dust Towers again for set number 6. In the bottom left, the red Protoss. It is Hurricane.
And up here in the blue, our Zerg player, it is Curious. Only Zerg in the group. Am I going to say that every time he plays? I guess I can get redundant.
Yeah. I don't know. Every time Dust Towers gets played, I say Dust Towers again, because... Let me actually count how many Dust Towers games we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's in the first 15 games. We have 7 Dust Towers. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in total out of 30 games.
Nearly
one map.
Yeah. There's a few Frozen Temples in there as well. Those are probably top 2. Actually, for King Sejong Station, only 2 games scheduled for the day, which is pretty rare for that map. It was a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
Last group.
In the first group we had 3 Terrans, so maybe they liked that map. They wanted to play that map a bit more.
That is true. Well, let's see what Curious wants to play here. There's basically 2 schools of thought right now in this matchup. It's the Baneling style, or it's the Lurker style. And there's not a whole lot of in-between. Like, the closest thing to an in-between would be like Ravager, Roach, Pressure into Lurkers, but that's kind of just the Lurker style. The Baneling style allows you flexibility. You can't die to pushes as easily because you have Banelings to defend. You can harass with them. And sometimes if you just get a little bit of a lead with Baneling drops, then you just win because you attack with Hydras and Banes, and, you know, it's an almost impossible comp to stop.
They just don't have stuff because you killed all their economy with drops.
They drop force fields down, and the Banelings, some of them still get through pretty much no matter what, and the Hydras just shoot over the force fields while everyone's hiding and running.
And some people try to drop Banelings over the force fields too.
Yeah, that's had a lot of success for some Zergs, like Rogue and Dark specifically, who also pioneered that style. And not everybody likes it, although I think it probably is the best. The Zergs that have been doing the best have been using it. Zergs that have had middling success in Legacy of the Void have been trying to do Lurker, Hydra, Ravager kind of stuff.
Well, I hope whatever style Curious prepared, he's got it down really well, because, as you said, 4 Protosses that he has to play. So a total of 8 games against Protoss today.
Oh, Overlord speed. What could it mean? A few more links coming out. This Adept is just nosy. It's none of his business what's going on in that base.
Yeah.
But he's going to find out anyways. Going to go tweet about it.
Oh, he doesn't even commit there. Tries to go for the larva, but nicely done by Curious to make a drone. Deny that. And Phoenix is going to be the tech here for Hurricane. Pretty standard. Good for the big map. You can clear out all the Overlords, even if they do have that speed.
This may be the turning point into what Curious decides to do. If he sees the Phoenix, he might go, okay, well, this is no longer as powerful to go for Banelings. Many Zerg players, like Dark and Rogue specifically, I keep bringing them up because they're the ones who do this the most, will just not even care in the slightest about Phoenix openings and still make the Baneling style work. But we'll see if Curious is confident enough in doing that. Starts 2 Overlords, as he knew one was going to go down. And this has actually been a consistent problem in this group, already in only the 2 games played for Curious, is supply blocking. He can't make anything. He has 3 Overlords on the way. He lost 1. He only made 1 extra. He loses drones so he can make a few more. And then he's going to get the Overlords out.
Nice block there with the Spore. He saves the drone, but also makes it awkward for the Adepts to get through. Just going to get 3 kills. And a 4th. There you go. Nice little sneaky play by Hurricane to keep those Adepts nearby and just shade them once these Zerglings go out on the map.
He's going to scout these Phoenixes yet again. Baneling Nest and Evolution Chamber coming up very late, I would say. Normally these are done around the time the Phoenixes are getting to your base to kind of scout them finish. And the Spores aren't ready. He made a huge swell of drones, and he's making more because he knows he just has to, kind of make up for the drones he's going to lose here. But right now, Hurricane is even in workers. In fact, takes a 1-worker lead briefly. And he has his 3rd base up and secured, multiple pylons. This is looking very good for Hurricane from the start of things. As the Baneling Nest finishes, we will see some Overlord drops attempted. But it just feels like it's all just a little bit too slow.
Yeah, if he wants to go for it, it's got to be the top left corner, bottom right corner kind of thing where you load them up in the obsolete corners of the map and try to get in around the Phoenixes. He may just not go for it, just not go for the harass and just use this style regardless. He's going to add a 2nd Evo Chamber as well and just get very heavily upgraded ground units, it looks like, for now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a big picture as to what Curious's game plan is. I mean, you just kind of covered it, but he's adding that 2nd Evo Chamber, which is kind of indicative that he wants to go double upgrades for a ground army. He got a Baneling Nest, but didn't use it. Almost makes me feel like he just wanted to have it for either an emergency case or to make Hurricane be like, oh, maybe I should keep my Phoenixes at home because maybe he's going to drop me. But it seems like what he's doing here is not perfectly, it's not fluid. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very freestyle.
Seems like he doesn't have a plan.
Double Hydralisk Den is the next stage.
Yeah, probably going to be Lurkers. Make one into a Lurker Den, upgrade at the same time. They came down at the exact same time, so I doubt this is a mistake.
Yeah, in 2 different locations, so I completely agree. I think that is exactly what
wow, he commits to the Shade. There's a lot of Lings, but still a lot of Adepts. But with the Queens and the Lings coming in and the Banes, he is going to be able to clean up the majority of these.
Yeah, it looks like he loses 2, nearly 3. Might have been more than that. Just
I think he lost like 5 or 6. So, big blow to Hurricane's army for now.
Almost a bit overzealous, but let's look at this. Hydralisk range and the Lurker Den on the, at the exact same time as you predicted. Very intentional what he's done here. And, +2 Storm on the way, though, for Hurricane. I feel like everything Curious is doing is solid, and it feels correct. It just feels a little bit too slow. By the time he can muster an army to attack, Storm will be out. Now, one thing that Hurricane is missing that most people will build versus this type of style is a large Immortal count. He's not even building any of those right now. He's none in production. He might not even have a Robo set yet. I don't even think he does. Okay, he does have a Robo. He's just not using it. That's somewhat worrisome, because that's how most people are breaking Lurker lines right now, is just mass Immortals, good barriers.
We'll probably add them in a little bit later. For now, he's just getting Archon's Charge and Storm. And, those Storms are going to have to be quite nice. He was he had a huge mineral bank there for a second, too, because he's making so many gas-heavy units and techs.
Look at this timing for the storm drop. 9 seconds to go. He's got the warp prism in position. That spore crawler isn't going to save that drone line. Looks like he's actually going to warp in to draw units away and then hit that third base.
Oh, that is so cool.
This is going to get nasty. Targets down the drones, ignoring the queen mostly here. And storm drop going off at the same time as more adepts hit this base.
Yeah, adepts are going to be surrounded. There's the storm drop. Getting the majority of the damage here. 11 drones in total so far.
Not sure if the Templar got away or not. Don't forget, this is Sanai's second time observing ever. So obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but he's still very good so far for a first-timer last week. And
yeah, we're all improving together, Wolf.
That's right.
It's all good.
Still not entirely sure if those are alive, but I think so. I would imagine someone as good as Hurricane would actually be able to save those.
Yeah, he's got both alive.
Okay. This is a shaky engage with 3 lurkers, soon to be 6. Looks like he wanted to delay this push and force a siege up, but now he's actually split between a rock and a hard place as he doesn't deny them, and they get on top of, with the rest of these lurkers, this fourth base. And they kill both cannons here before they're ready, but a huge warp in his zealots. This is how to beat lurkers, is just avoid fighting them, fight somewhere else.
Yeah, Lings are coming in, not going to do much, and Storm's in the mix too, going to hit the Hydras. A bunch of the Hydras still do survive, and more Storms coming down here. Not a huge army to support these lurkers, but the lurkers alone are going to be able to stop them.
Well, it looks like Hurricane is just not that well equipped to deal with this. Storm's going down onto these Hydras, but he just totally missed. Goes for the reveal in order to make sure he can hit the follow-up ones, but I mean, is this really just going to be it? Hurricane can't deal with this, and so he's just going to die? I think that's what's going to happen here. The drop did a decent amount of damage, but it wasn't enough. And this reminds me of the first beginning part of Legacy of the Void where Classic couldn't deal with Lurker style. I'm like, look at his, like, Hurricane looks like he's never seen Lurkers before. Like, he only played Heart of the Swarm when he came in here. I liked what he did with the drop, but he wasn't, I guess, like, proactive enough to stop Lurkers from getting on top. He's going to try to fight this fight here, but there's so many Hydras.
Has a lot of Storms, though, and he will be able to fight this for now. Nice kiting should push Hurricane back, though, and he still needs to deal with the Lurkers that are near his fourth.
He needs to, I was going to say he needs to make a new fourth, not even try to take that one. That one's going to be so difficult to take. The Overseer is going to spot this, and Hurricane will probably be under fire from another attack soon.
The Archon drop. Not doing much. I think he got 1 kill.
All this army could be doing more, even. Maybe Curious is like somewhat concerned about a potential all-in because, you know, he's like, oh, I killed your fourth base. You don't have another fourth base yet. Look at this. Oh. He needs to make sure he splits those to a certain extent when he attacks, though, because there's a lot of AoE damage in this army. And it looks like Hurricane may just go for it.
No way he can fight that many Lurkers right now. He needs Storm. He needs more Immortals. Just more stuff in general. You know, he gets supply blocked again. He's having trouble dealing with the Lurkers in the middle of the map. At least he's keeping them in the middle of the map. He's forcing them to siege up over and over. This is not a good fight.
This is what he needed to do earlier, but he wasn't able to stop the Lurkers from getting on the high ground. Looks like he's trying to spot them. It's difficult to keep an observer on top of armies like this because the Overseer is nearby. Hydras have a large range. These Queens are going to try to shut down this drop, and they should. Down it goes. +3 attack is done for Hurricane. He also has triple Immortal production. We didn't talk about it, but he made a second and third Robo. And so his Immortal count is starting to get pretty terrifying. And he's being pretty careful. He's not losing units, you know, to this positioning of Curious. Every time he sees Lurkers there, he just backs off. And you know, once you get up to like 20 Immortals, you really can attack into pretty much anything on the ground.
Yeah, he's not overcommitting at any point in this game. And that's the sign of a really strong player. It looks like he wants to take fights here and there, see if he can find an angle, but he never just goes for it, which is something that a weaker player might do.
I think he wants to know like exactly how far away the Lurkers are, and when the spikes come in, he's like, okay, that's exactly how far away they are, you know? And I'm not going to push the issue. You unburrow, I dare you.
Yeah.
Because he took this fourth base so quickly and so proactively after he lost his original fourth, oh my god, he's actually just going to go for this. He has a lot of Immortals here.
And the Chargelet's coming in and eating a bunch of the damage. Tons of Storms over everything, and the Immortals are totally protected in the back, and he wipes out the entire army.
Huge Mutalisk switch on the way, though. And this is one of the things that's worrisome is when you go mass immortal like this, if the Zerg banks enough gas, you can just do the switch. There are 4 Archons here, and he does have a fleet beacon back at home. He can make Phoenixes and try to get ready for this, but he has no idea it's coming. That's the big problem. There's 1 High Templar with this army as well for 1 Storm.
Now he knows. He saw that Muta, and this is going to be interesting because he can take out the 4th base and try to back off and just make Stalkers, just make stuff that deal with Mutas.
There's no mothership with this. There's no way to recall. And look at this. Mutas take out the Archons first. I think he can fight these Stalkers. As soon as he groups up his Mutas, he's going to back off. Those 6 more of them on the way. Oh, going to go for that Prism. Stops the Warp in.
The Mutas are 1-0. These Stalkers have +3 attack. There's no armor upgrades for the Mutas, so they're being shredded by even just a small number of the Stalkers. And with just 2 Archons, it looks like it should be enough to fight it straight up.
Yeah, the Archons are the really big problem here. Like, +3 Archons with no armor on Mutas, if they stack, obviously the results are disastrous. He's going to use these Lings to isolate a small group of Stalkers over here away from the main army.
Oh, nice pickup.
And now he's just going to avoid the army entirely, as the Stalker count is getting quite large. He's going to go ahead and hit this 4th base. 4 more Mutas on the way. He's going mass Muta. And Hurricane has actually stopped Phoenix production.
Here we go. It looks like base trade territory is being approached very quickly because Hurricane is not pulling back. No Mothership Core, as you mentioned, no recall. And it looks like he'll just try to save his main and natural, or rather backdoor base, while he goes and kills the Zerg.
Valdez, did your mom ever teach you the golden rule?
What?
You know what the golden rule is?
Do unto the other person as you want it to be done to you or something like that?
Yeah, that's what people think it is, but they're wrong. It's never base trade against a Zerg with mass Mutas. That's
My
actually
mom
the
never
golden
taught
rule.
me that one.
Your mom
sure.
Your mom didn't teach you that. You know, maybe that's why you turned out the way you did not.
What?
I'm just messing with you. But, like, this is not going to be a good fight for Hurricane, most likely. There's still 42 drones on the map. Okay, 41 now.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in the main and the natural, though, so I think you should be able to take them out. Let me see where these drones are, actually. I don't see any.
They're actually probably in the backdoor base.
He
right?
saved some from the 3rd. They're going towards the 4th right now.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
And the rest of them are doomed to die, but he does save a bunch.
Like, let's look at the numbers here. 1 Phoenix, 11 Stalkers, and 1 Archon versus 28 Mutas. And a lot of these Stalkers are low. They have +1 armor. They have +3 attack. The +1 armor for that 10 health on that Archon, not going to be that important, but the Immortals obviously can kill buildings very quickly. And it's taking the Zerg army a while to actually finish these bases off. We saw a hatchery made in a really weird location down towards the center of the map. It's going to be tough to run into that one, but if he does find it, I mean, he doesn't have enough money to make another hatchery after this.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to rebuild. He's just trying to stay alive, put buildings in weird places where it can't be found so he can win the base trade like that. And
I mean, he has so many scattered bases. If he can save these Lings, too, they can always be a bigger threat later.
Focus down that Nexus.
Oh, he's going to sack these Lings for the Nexus. They're going to go for the Archon as well. It's isolated, alone.
Oh, man. That's it. I mean, this is the army of Hurricane here.
This is why this is the golden rule. It's not do unto others as you want them to do unto you or whatever. It's actually never base trade a Zerg who has mass Mutas. There's nothing he could have done. He was probably going to lose the game either way. The base trade was his only chance, but
I think he would have been okay if he just tried to go back and save the 4th. He was in the middle of the map. I think that would have been a better outcome than just trying to go for the base trade.
It's really hard to say, but I would have done that because I never want to base trade Mutas. And I think this is the last building, right? Yeah, it is. GG.
HH even.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, Curious taking the game there in a nice base trade scenario. Wins out in the end with his Mutas. And that was Hurricane's map, in fact. So Curious also does get an away win for his first win. And Hurricane sitting at 1-1 himself.
All right, so Curious is 1-1, Hurricane's 1-1, right?
Yep.
All right, I fixed all my mistakes from earlier because I didn't bring a pencil today, so I brought this pen, and I'm like, oh, this by the end of the night, there's going to be just scribbles all over this thing, and no one can read it except me, and maybe not even me. All right.
Well, I got my own for that exact reason. I want to follow on your one today. But that was game number 6, and that You guys should know what that means. That was 3 games in a row, so we're going to go to another quick commercial break. We'll be back with game number 7 in just a few minutes.
There ain't nobody